Don't give her any.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Bella. No more. Oh, look at that.
No,
face.
Coston, don't fall for it.
Look at that.
Don't,
face.
no grapes for the dog.
Are you playing your wife a little bit doing that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
You're innocent, I'll bet.
I
And
wouldn't do that to my wife.
he's going to get a haircut later
She
on.
can do it
Gee, I
better
wonder
than
why
me.
he needs it, eh?
In case you say something interesting, all of posterity will be enhanced.
Where does it go to?
To this cell phone.
He's going to ask me to tell a couple of stories.
I'm making movies in case you have something fun to say.
Whoa, wait a minute. What's going on?
Well, nothing. Don't worry about it. Forget it.
Yeah, to get you talking about some of the stories, like when you were young in the steel town, what that was like. I would talk about where you were born
Huh.
and grew up.
Suddenly I'm interesting to this dog.
Yeah, you got the bowl. You got the bowl.
Well, actually, it's quite boring. Shall I?
You should tell us about something when you were growing up.
Yeah, tell us about Midland, Pennsylvania. Or
Midland,
Ohio. Tell us about the flood. When you went down to the river and you saw everything, your dad took you
Well,
guys.
that was before we moved to Midland.
Well, then talk about before you moved to Midland.
My father had helped develop a few, I guess you'd call it a housing development. They didn't have names for them, those things then. A place called Ohio View, because there was the Ohio River,
Uh-huh.
right down there. Beautiful place. And the government came and ruined it. Well, not ruined it, but really messed it up.
The state.
So they came and they built a dam.
They built a dam. And of course, it helped the income. The Depression was very much on at that time, and it bailed our little community out.
What year was that?
This was, well, 1920s. I was born in 1927, but I saw it from a child's standpoint. It was great because houses were built, children inhabited them,
Oh, sure.
and I had playmates. But it was an interesting little community called Ohio View, because there was the view of the.
And that's what they built where the dam backed the river up?
And the dam was right there.
So-
And over on the other side was completely closed off because that's where the boats and occasional ship, and they're to go pumped up or let down.
Oh, it must have been a lock.
Must have been.
So,
The Ohio River went on up Pennsylvania.
Okay.
There wasn't anything big up there, but
well, talk about the steel.
it was hard.
Did you work with steel?
Yes, I worked. My first job was a grinder. I had a grinding machine. It had a wheel on it about like that.
Uh-huh.
Sparks through.
Just shaping metal?
There were bubbles on
Oh, on the surface of
the surface.
like girders?
I
Or...
had to get rid of them. because
Sheet
they
metal or-
were not strong.
Uh-huh.
So
What was the name of the steel plant?
the steel what?
What was the name of the place where your dad worked there in Midland?
Give me a minute. Not coming to me.
It'll come as you talk. So what did your dad do in the mill?
Dad cooked the steel. Heat treat.
Oh, really?
The steel, freshly made,
Uh-huh.
was brought to his section, put into these furnaces, and the fire, the intense fire that they pumped into that was unbelievable.
I'll bet. Well, they still make steel pretty much the same way they always have, right?
Yeah.
So,
as far as I know,
whatever they did back in 1935 or whatever, they're probably still doing somewhere.
I'm sure there are some modifications.
Well, sure. But essentially, you know, it's like the internal combustion engine. It's pretty much the same
Yeah.
Ford had, just with enhancements.
Yeah, right.
And I know his dad cooked the steel, but he did it all by sight.
Oh,
So he knew when it was just the right.
color.
So he was
Or
very
something.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first job in the steel mill, I think I was 14, maybe 15, but 14 sticks in my mind,
Okay.
was in the last part of the mill. The mill was 2 miles long,
Uh-huh.
different things. And this was one of the finishing mills where the manufactured steel had been brought, and here, whatever it needed to be done to it, to send it out to be utilized,
Right.
made. Heat treating,
Was this mill in Ohio View?
pardon?
Was the-
Midland.
Oh, the mill was in Midland?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
right, that was Midland. There was a steel mill, we lived here.
Oh, okay. I'll bet Google Earth knows where it is.
When I worked there in the mill, I worked several summers
Uh-huh.
for
Yeah.
work.
You talked about being a teenager and during the war in the mill. Can you talk about what the job was you had there?
I saw, well, I was in the last part of the mill, the finishing mill, which are 3 buildings, and the final treatment of the steel happens there. Could be acid, could be heat,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what else it could be.
It kind of depends on the grade of steel, right? What they have to do to it.
Yeah. And from there, it was shipped to whatever
Everywhere.
manufacturer
Sure.
was going to make guns out of it or something.
Mostly off the river, shipped on the boat. Was it shipped mostly on a ship, or was there some rail coming and going too?
Oh, there was rail,
More on rail?
heavy rail.
I would imagine that would be a smart way to go. You know, rail is still the most efficient way to move stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is on a train with a diesel motor.
We lived kind of up here, and we could walk down to the railroad tracks. We were forbidden to get on there and play.
Yeah, well, like you're forbidden to go play in traffic, right?
And it was kind of dangerous because we could stand right where the rails were and look into that part of the mill.
Yeah.
Not that we could have figured out, or anybody could have figured out what was going on. But this was, whatever it was where the steel was being finished,
Sure.
or whatever the
Right.
purpose was, to ship out to be made into, I don't know, guns.
Everything, yeah.
War stuff.
Battleships and razor blades.
There was heavy police guards loading that train.
Drink for you.
Police cars were
Thank
on
you.
top of the cars, or just all around.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And some guy came and inspected everything. They closed the doors, and 4 locks great big locks.
Uh-huh. It must have been important shipments of steel then, huh?
And then off it went,
Huh.
for whatever the purpose was.
You talked about the orders for steel during the war. The orders came in during the war for steel under armed guard.
He was talking about that a little.
Oh, yeah.
And then what would happen to those orders?
My first job, I worked in one of the last parts of the mill. And my job was to get the order for the steel that came by armored guard
Uh-huh.
and to see what I'm supposed to do with this steel. And had the machine, sometimes it's a lathe, whatever needed to be done.
Right.
It was the final step. And then it was locked up and sent out to be turned into bad stuff.
So they're milling parts there under supervision,
Oh, yeah.
and guards are overseeing you doing the final treatment, and then they
No,
I don't know.
they turned it over to a teenager and
You,
left.
you didn't talk about
Oh,
anything.
well, you can talk now. I don't think you'll be in trouble. I won't call them.
Well, yeah, we were cautioned.
Oh, sure.
Loose lips sink ship.
Well, yeah, I know. I was on a ship. I know about all that.
Here, dear. Iced tea.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You're doing good.
Oh, that's cold. That's why it's ice.
That's why they put ice in it. But it's self-correcting. It'll be room temperature if you want to wait.
Yeah. Oh, I'll drink it before that. Well, we were warned constantly. Loose lips sink ships.
Well, yeah, security was very important then. Sure, there really were spies here and there sometimes. Not as many as people thought, but still.
You know, Midland was a steel mill town. And the people that worked there were just plain Americans.
Yeah,
They
sure.
weren't gonna give away secrets.
Well, yeah, but you know, all them Japanese that we interned, those were plain Americans too. So, you know.
Yeah.
We did not have Japanese in my hometown.
Oh, I'm
We
sure.
had Chinese,
Oh,
not Japanese.
well, yeah, because we were at war with the same people, so yeah, I get that.
Well, they're right down the river in East Liverpool. They had Japanese working.
Oh, were they under supervision?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they were probably happier to have something to do than just sit around in a camp.
It was like a penitentiary there.
Oh, yeah.
Guards all over the
Guilt-
place.
Guilty of having unkind looking eyes, I guess. Automatically suspicious. Sure. Well, we were at war with the Italians and the Germans, but you couldn't tell them apart, so you couldn't do that on the basis of race.
Well, they knew, and they came out 2 or 3 times. My name is Frederick.
Oh, you're German.
One German and 3 Irish.
How long have you lived in this country? I was born here.
Yeah, well, people have trouble with that now.
Where did your father
I was
born?
born
He was
here.
Born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, man. Nothing changes. It's just the object of who they want to hate.
Right.
Yep.
It was interesting times.
I'll bet.
Beautiful.